according to the London-based newspaper Al-Awsat, Lebanese and Israeli officials attempted to reach a peace agreement during a series of meetings in the UK in the 1990s. I24 News UK correspondent Jonathan Sacerdoti with more on this. Jonathan?
The London-based Al-Awsat newspaper has published newly declassified documents from the 1990s, which detail meetings and briefings between then Lebanese Prime Minister Rafik Hariri and his counterpart, Tony Blair, who was then the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. These papers provide a fascinating insight into the diplomatic to and fro of negotiations between Israel and Lebanon, with outside influence from both the UK and France, Britain hoping to assist in brokering some level of peace. The declassified documents reveal the efforts that were made between Lebanese and Israeli officials to reach a peace agreement during meetings held in the 1990s. Blair received Hariri at 10 Downing Street in London in July 1997, having recently become British Prime Minister after leading the Labour Party to a landslide victory in the elections that year. And in the documents, we learn that Hariri revealed that he'd held 11 meetings with Israel in 1994, mentioning that the Israelis had set 10 conditions, including the dissolution of Hezbollah. The Israelis also wanted to resume negotiations with the Syrians from scratch. According to the newspaper, the minutes of one meeting show that Hariri clearly held then Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu responsible for obstructing progress in the peace talks, arguing that Yasser Arafat, then the chairman of the PLO and the president of the Palestinian Authority, was losing on the ground, as he put it, and Hamas and other fundamentalists were therefore gaining influence, he said. He called for the Israelis to halt settlement activity, saying that Netanyahu is doing nothing despite criticism from around the world. A French official on behalf of the president is also quoted as saying that Paris was upset with Emir Lahoud, who was the Lebanese president at the time, after he'd gone back on previous promises to deploy the Lebanese army in the south after Israel's eventual withdrawal in May 2000. There are also letters which have been declassified between Blair and the Lebanese presidency detailing the efforts made by the UK to try to broker negotiations and help bring about peace, including by sending Blair's special envoy Michael Levy to meet Syrian President Hafez al-Assad and Lebanese President Emir Lahoud, who in fact refused to receive him. The letters also stressed that the UK wouldn't lecture either side on how they should achieve peace, saying that the UK would instead play whatever constructive and supportive role it could, both bilaterally and with the EU. A further meeting between Hariri and Blair in 1999 is also revealed, apparently taking place at the insistence of then French President Jacques Chirac. This was after Hariri had resigned from the Lebanese government and Ehud Barak had become Israel's prime minister, replacing Netanyahu. The paper reports that they discussed the necessity to reach progress on the Syrian and Lebanese track to achieve a comprehensive peace, negotiations with the European Union, concern over the recent escalation in southern Lebanon that caused the bombing of Beirut on June the 25th, and progress in the negotiations of the association agreement between the European Union and Lebanon. Now, as is the case with most declassified documents, the meetings they describe seem almost irrelevant to what's going on today, especially with the massive changes that have taken place in the Middle East since then. But they are invaluable sources for historians and diplomats who doubtless will be able to better understand the period of recent history that they detail.
Thank you very much, Jonathan, in London.